Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a 1v1 game on the map Last Refuge. And in this game, I was challenged for a bet between a couple of friends of mine to do a game only training a TC and massing only demolishers. And the other restriction is I couldn't offensively tower rush the opponent. Right, which actually midway through the game I sort of forgot. I sent some peons over there thinking about sort of doing a cheeky tower in the trees type of strategy, only to remember that, with the Zeppelin, only to remember that I couldn't actually do it. So it kind of messed me up a little bit there. But anyways, though, this game ends up being very close, actually. And it was quite a fun game to play. Of course, it's always sort of more fun when you perform, pretty well. Decently well. There was a number of mistakes here in this game. He goes for a strategy that is actually quite difficult to beat with this strategy because you'll notice the TC doesn't have any abilities that directly interact with air units. That is doing damage to enemy air units. You have Endurance Aura, which again interacts with your own anti-air units or your own air units, but it doesn't allow you to directly counter the enemy's air units without something else. And the same thing is true for demolishers. They themselves cannot attack air units without the assistance of like ensnare or web or something like that. So this is a very big problem if the opponent sort of is aware and smart enough to mass air units, right? Now this guy, it's hard to say that he really masses air units. He gets a bunch of units. He starts with the ghouls, but he transitions to gargoyles relatively quickly, and this is very unusual in this particular matchup. He did scout that I didn't go barracks, right? And sorry, I didn't go barracks immediately in tier 1. I almost feel like maybe he's seen me do this. I don't know. I can't remember doing this in 2s on this particular. I guess I have done a handful of games of this strategy in 2v2. It used to be a strategy, half of a 2v2 strategy, right? The other person would do something different. But anyways, though, the way I'm going to play this with the TC is to run across with Clarity Potion, heal salves, and try to harass their creeping, because I don't have tier 1 units, so realistically, I don't really have many other options. I can't really creep very efficiently with a TC alone, but I can creep jackhammer. And yes, I did steal one of the creeps. I did hit some of his skeletons. This there were people watching this on Discord, so I was hamming it up a little bit just for the trolls. Catch another skeleton here. I'm getting a little bit of experience. I'm at 60 experience. He is at 96, right? So he does have an edge in experience, but he's been creeping with ghouls and skeletons, right? I'm literally just harassing him with a solo TC as I tech. Now let's see if the tech speeds. He's actually teched faster than me. This is kind of surprising. I could go greedier, right? I think did I know that he was undead at the start of the game? I think did he pick undead? I'm not actually sure. I feel like he did pick undead, because I think, like, in the early parts of the game, I was thinking, okay, this is an undead. It's kind of annoying because taking out the necropolis slash halls of the dead slash black citadel, if he gets there, it's not going to tank his economy, right? It's only going to sort of hurt his supply. It's going to potentially hurt his tech, and the ability to TP into his base. But his gold mine is what I would have to kill to knock out his economy. Whereas with the other races, all of those sort of functions are rolled up into a single building. So if I can knock out that building, I'm not only going to get the same benefits as knocking out the undead necropolis, but I'm also going to get the benefit of, dropping their gold income, at least at that particular base, to 0 temporarily, potentially. So, but anyways, I'm going to be hanging around. This looks pretty juicy. I got a couple of kills, but there was a lot of things that didn't actually get killed. But I did a lot of damage there. It's kind of, I'm trying to time it to where I'd maximize the kills. I did get a ghoul kill there. I'm doing pretty well as far as the harass goes. He's just did he sell his town portal? Looks like he sold his town portal, which actually is pretty nice for the strategy. But his reaction here is he's just gonna, he tries to pull some stuff back and he does take some losses and blah blah blah. But he knows he is level 2, right? So he's just gonna keep force creeping, sort of forcefully taking creep camps. And yeah, as long as I'm floating around, I could probably be more effective with a Farseer doing this, because the mana cost of wolves is cheaper than Shockwave. I probably, depending on how many units I hit, I can probably get more damage. The Farseer is ranged. I was only at 75 mana, so that's unfortunate. If I had another Shockwave loaded up, enough mana, potentially kill that level 4 Troll High Priest, which would be a big deal. So you see he's halfway to level, well, he's not halfway, but he's making his way to level 3, and I'm only level 1. I did buy a Boots of Speed, so I can potentially chase some units down. If I didn't have the boots, he could have just ran that up, and he wouldn't have had to death coil it. He could have just got it to his base, and it probably would have been fine. It would have healed in the blight, saved himself some mana. Big TC, big win. I think I killed a skeleton or something goofy there. But yeah, he's not really doing that bad of a job here. Yeah, he did lose a ghoul earlier, and he did. I was able to snipe some creeps. It hasn't been perfect for him, but he's got the edge, right? He's creeping faster than me. He's actually teched much faster than me. I'm gonna start building my demolishers, right? And thanks to the boots, I am going to be able to snipe off another ghoul. I'm very close to level 2. Endurance Sword should help me, sort of keep pace with the movement speed. He doesn't. Every time he's in the midst of creeping and he has this few units, he doesn't really. I was kind of getting blocked off by that acolyte. He doesn't really have enough to, to force us around, right? He can put damage on me, but there was only a few times where I was really at risk. It was mostly when he had a lot more units right here, or up here, where he's at risk of actually hitting us around. Now he's got the Lich. He has enough damage potential to really, and with the range and the movement speed, Slow of Nova, to really punish me if I go in there. So I pull back. I'm not even sure. I saw that he had Gargs. I'm not sure if I saw he had a Lich. I think I might have. I'm not 100% sure, but the timing there, DK Lich is pretty much almost automatic, second hero choice. It's been this way for a long time. It's a good combination, right? It's a lot of damage. Now I have the awkward position of trying to creep with Demolishers. Now, you should note that you can hurt yourself with splash damage from siege units like Demolishers. They have a small splash area, and it will hit allied stuff as well as enemy stuff. So what I'm going to do here, and what I frequently do, is I'm going to focus the Demolishers on the ranged units of a creep camp, right? And I'm going to tank, hopefully, right? Generally, I think I mess up a little bit here, but generally I'm going to try to... Actually, I think I let him do some damage to demo so I could just repair. I can sort of convert gold with peons repairing, and I do have a heal potion, heal salves, right? So I'm going to try to spread the damage a little bit. I don't want to get creep jacked, right? Because if he creep jacks me with Coil Nova, it's gonna be really rough here. So I try to keep the TC sort of out of the danger zone. He does get a couple of swings from the Ogre Warrior on the demo. Not great, but yeah, you see, as long as the TC is tanking this melee unit, that's good. The TC does have more. Actually, the TC has the same amount of armor at level 1. He has 2 armor. But the other thing is the splash damage. I don't want the splash damage. If I can avoid it, which I should be able to, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to try to pull back when the attacks are going through, so I don't get hit with too much of splash damage. I actually messed up. I think I'm catching some of this splash damage, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of a weird dance because I want to attack with the TC. He does a lot of damage, right? 30 to 40. Not as much per hit as the demos, though. So notably, But yeah, anyways, I'm trying to sort of maximize, not take too much damage, but also creep really as quick as I can. And then now I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Normally with this strategy, and this might have been a mistake, but the reason why I went to tier 3 was sort of twofold. One is literally the only anti-air things I can make are watchtowers, but I can't offensively towers base, or get an orb of lightning And I'm also unable to get the second, third hero with this restriction for the bet. The bet I do get, or in this case, my friend who was sort of betting on me to win with the strategy, he got I think 4-1 odds on the bet that would he was betting that I would be able to win. But the other guy was giving 4-1 odds that I would lose, so he would have to pay out 4 times the whatever the bet amount was. So, um, so yeah, that's the payoff for trying to win with such a big handicap, right? This is a massive handicap. I'm literally like no anti-air units, right? If I could just build like 2 Bat Riders, the whole gargoyle thing would be solved. I would have a lot more options to punish the opponent. And it's weird, the opponent by the end of the game, he probably realizes I was under, either a self-imposed or whatever kind of restriction on what kind of units I was building, right? Because I literally didn't make any combat units except for demolishers. I guess you could argue that I used a shredder as a combat unit at some point, but yeah. So I'm gonna again split the demos off to attack these 2 different things. They do a lot of damage, so if I don't exactly want like 150 damage going to like one single target or whatever, or 148, whatever it is. So actually, I guess that could actually high roll pop to 250 if they were both attacking something. So that's a pretty big range of damage numbers there. That's pretty interesting to note. But anyways, this was actually really lucky for me right here because I didn't realize where he was on the map. I'm just sort of blindly like I'm putting these towers up, and I'm actually going to run back and buy a tiny Great Hall. I try to push this to the long game. I don't know if this is necessarily the most efficient way to do this strategy. I think because the window for this to pay off is like for the tiny Great Hall is like full mining for multiple minutes, right? And then you add the towers. Is every tower that I build is going to add a little bit more time for that. Um, so we're talking about we're already 9 minutes and 20 seconds in the game. He's already tier 3 before I drop this tiny. So in terms of the payoff, he could literally be making frostworms. If he makes like 1 frostworm or like 2 destroyers, Gargs are annoying, but they only do heavy damage. Or sorry, not heavy damage. They do piercing damage, not heavy damage. They do piercing damage, which is heavily reduced against hero armor. It's not reduced against heavy armor. I think they do full damage to the demolishers, which have heavy armor, but it's really reduced against buildings, and it's cut in half, 50% against buildings, and against actually no, take that back. It's half against heroes. It's 33% or 35% against fortified buildings, fortified armor targets. So really bad against buildings, the guards are. And the guards have lower health than a lot of units. But the Frostworms, on the other hand, have a lot of health. They have like 1,350 health, I think. They do magic damage, which is doubled against something like the Demolishers. And they have a splash. They have splash damage, so that's pretty good. And the splash on ground targets is going to slow the movement speed and the attack speed of stuff they're hitting. And if it's units, it's quite a long slow. So, like, literally, if I get caught anywhere on the map with Frostworms with this army that I'm building, even if it's my hero, it's going to be a bad time. So the fact that he didn't make 1 Frostworm is actually quite an oversight. I don't know why the guy would go into Gargs. Like, maybe he thought I was going into Wind Riders. That's the only thing I can really guess. Maybe I need to just build a barracks, like in tier 1, so they think I'm going like grunts or headhunters or whatever. But again, it's probably depends on the matchup and stuff. But anyways, he's gonna pop off a couple of peons here because I was creeping. I was kind of distracted. Shouldn't lose those. There was no real reason to. I could have just put him in the burrow. Buy a shredder. Trying to again. I'm playing this more to the long game. Now, there's sort of 2 ways you can win this kind of really in terms of me like think. I guess you could say there's 3 ways. One way is the opponent could derp into your base and like get destroyed or something like that. But sort of the main way this particular strategy could actually win game or should actually win games is you're massing siege units that do a lot of. They're really slow, but they have really long range and they do a massive amount of damage, right? To buildings, right? To other stuff they do a lot less damage, but to buildings, the damage actually is quite crazy. But typically buildings have a lot of health. Notice the black still has a lot of health compared to the other buildings. It has 2,000 health with 5 armor. 1,200 for a slaughterhouse, 1,300 for a crypt, 950 for a haunted gold mine, 600 for the ziggurats, right? So realistically, what you'd want to do is one way is to knock their economy down and just get out of there, right? Go in there, do like a dive bomb on their economy, and hopefully also mess their tech up, right? He does have a slaughterhouse, so if I was going to really tank his tech, I would not only need to kill the Black Citadel, but probably kill the slaughterhouse as well. If he already has made gargoyles, knock him down to tier 0/1 or whatever you want to call it, will prevent him from building more until he retechs, right? But if he already has a second hero, a lot of the tech is paid off, right? He's got some air units, he's got a second hero. Potentially now he's got an orb of corruption, I assume. Let me look at his perspective so I can easily see where his army is. This was good news because he didn't have a town portal. He's out of position with no town portal. He's crept this red. He's crept both the reds. I got lucky that he didn't just fly over here and see these towers and just knock them down, camp it, da-da-da. So this is going to be the start of my, sort of the second way you can win. Is just to get an overwhelming amount of resources. And, it's still a similar idea to get, like, a resource advantage and leverage that into the win. But the timing is much different. The timing and the way you accomplish it is much different. I'm really sort of hoping to play a more defensive macro-focused game and hoping that he messes up somehow. I've got an invis potion. I'm sitting in his base. This was the mistake. This was where I said I was thinking about doing a cheeky build some towers back here in this. If I have a couple of towers up here, then the Gargs, the towers will deal with the Gargs, right? Presumably. He could still dive bomb the Zeppelin and make it annoying. I would like to get like right here and go for the gold mine, but this is unfortunately the way this map is laid out. There's not really an easy angle into this, so yeah, this was really sort of a boondoggle, right? Sort of a waste of time. I should have honestly, even just going in with 2 demos and trying to hit the gold mine with shockwave and stuff probably would have been more effective. I've got the Towered Expo up. I need to keep his attention here. The longer he, has to scout it, which he hasn't scouted it yet, the better for me. So, and in terms of the time that this takes, every time I'm going for these trees, this time I'm not doing anything. He's creeping camps. He's taking a camp here. He's cleared this shop. He's looks like he cleared both the shops. He got both the. He creeps so much, and this is the thing about timing, right? This, it's technically, unless you can get an advantage, like literally setting up some kind of like really, really good position towers and demos. The fact that these are behind trees, he doesn't really have. I mean, he's got air units, right? So it doesn't offer the same benefit as if he had just ground units, right? If he literally only had ghouls or something, and maybe ghouls and fiends, I might be able to exploit the range. The problem is, he has air units, so this is totally not doing anything to stop the Gargs. And B, it's gonna, just based on the map layout. Some maps have a lot easier access, like Twisted Meadows. You can fly to behind to the island. You can drop off, knock a hole behind his gold mine, basically in probably like 30 seconds, right, or something like that. But in this map, it's actually really hard to do this with just the demolishers. It takes a long time, and that time is a precious resource. That time is he's 4, 3.5, 2.5 in terms of his hero levels. So his heroes are going to be quite strong, and I'm just not really going to be able to kill them most of the time. Like fighting with demos and just a TC with shockwave, outside of fighting him at towers or something, especially since he has a Death Knight, it's just going to become nearly impossible for me to get hero kills. Unless he has to, fight me in some kind of weird position. I'm trying to get shockwaves to hit a lot of his acolytes. And I'm just going to put these demos here. The graveyard is not super important. He's not really massing Gargs or Fiends anymore. He's not even getting upgrades. I'm going to fly this Zeppelin away. Yeah, killing this isn't a real big deal. It does prevent him from building Gargs, I think. Prevents him from building Fiends as well. But I literally did 0 damage to the gold mine. I did 0 damage to the gold mine. I didn't kill any Ziggurats. And it took me clearing these trees, clearing these trees, clearing these trees, and clearing these trees. So this was a lot of wasted time. This was just too cute. It did keep him, sort of defending, but I could have just made him defend by just, camping right here. Boop, boop, boop. So yeah, that really wasn't that really wasn't good for this strategy, which gives him, gave him a little bit more time to creep. Now he's got one meat wagon. I should get an invul potion and go snipe this immediately. But I'm still thinking of trying to play offensively. I'm like, I've got the expo. I don't think he does. I think I continuously keep scouting this with reveal at the shop. I'm going to speed scroll. I'm going to buy. I didn't buy a Zeppelin, or sorry, I didn't buy Sappers this time. Do I buy them now? I used reveal to look at my path to see I wasn't running into his army. He still, I don't think, has a TP, I think. So he has to run all the way back. I'm going to get the Black Citadel. So this is a problem, though. I killed the Black Citadel and a tower. I get 2 Spirit Towers. He gets 2 demos on TP. That was an okay hit, right? He can't TP back. I needed to have something dealing with this. I guess he had a whole bunch of stuff sitting here. I couldn't actually just send a demo over there. So yeah, this damage is adding up. I actually have to repair this. And I'm like, oh geez, I buy another tiny Great Hall and I tower and I'm gonna take this expo. This one's already down to 7,000 gold. Technically, if I'm gonna save one or keep one, the one on the ramp is way better to have, just in terms of positioning. Fighting up a ramp is actually really hard. There's a choke point, so the vision and stuff, is a cliff. It's hard to actually sort of assault this. I need to put the peons immediately on gold. And yeah, I'm coming back into his base. Did he buy a TP yet? He still did not rebuy his town portal. He's cleared the expo. And it's probably like a real shock that I take this, for him. He didn't, seemingly hasn't scouted it, probably. Won't for a while. And I'm coming in here. I do come from the left, so he should maybe think, what's he coming from the left for? I'm going to get the Necropolis. I don't know if he has a TP or not. Killing the Necropolis and then killing the Acolytes is sort of a win condition. Because it will possibly permanently, outside of him getting Charm, it can permanently lock his, gold income, right? And his ability to build. So if he can't tech, and he can't also build Acolytes to populate his gold mine, and he loses all of his Acolytes, then he is gonna really struggle to win. Oh, one Shockwave would have been oof. Yeah, having a mana potion there and being able to Shockwave it. Oh, he's sitting here with a big army. Should have sent the meat wagon over here. So now I'm going to start invisible harassing his Acolyte / gold mine. I'm level 4. I'm just over level 4. There's going to be a long chunk of time in this game where I actually I was real close to level 5. I could have just taken one creep camp, and it was a big oversight. I didn't really think to do it. For a long time, I was just literally sitting on like 4.8 or something. Pretty decent Shockwave there. I could have probably gotten 3 Acolytes as well as Ziggurats if I'd have angled it properly. I missed this one, though. Got him that time. He's down to 2 Acolytes. And these Spirit Tower and Ruben Tower lined up where they're close. I'm going to hit both the Acolytes. He literally has 1 Acolyte left. I killed both of those, hit the gold mine, killed an Acolyte, and he's down to this 1 Acolyte. This is his last Acolyte, actually, but he does have this Necropolis going up, sadly. So if I had Sappers and I had stopped this Necropolis, this literally would have locked him into his army. Like, he wouldn't have been, unless he gets Charm, which he's very far from. He's level 3. Outside of getting Charm, he just would never be able to mine or build, build buildings again. but since he has inner accomplice, he can build acolytes when it finishes. Excuse me. So that's sort of the win. Those are the win conditions, basically. Very easy for him just to make an army that I literally can't fight. I can't really fight mass guards with this army. It's really generally a very bad idea to just mass. I guess it depends on how you micro and the timings and stuff, I guess, but it almost always is a bad idea to mass guards against a orc player because he can just make bat riders, right? And it's just really awkward, right? If he catches your clustered up guards with bats and does the unstable concoction, he's just gonna mass level on you, and there's not the guards they can go into stone form. Stone form and web would be an interesting, like try to bait them with gargs in stone form, and then have some fiends pop up with web, and now you maybe web half of his bats. The gargs are safe in stone form, and then maybe you unstone form one or two instead of having them clustered, and then it's weird. The player, depending on how many bats he has, he's gonna end up losing some bats. So it may actually not be that bad of an idea if you micro and position and all that stuff. It might actually not be that crazy, but if you're not careful, you can literally just get all your gargs wiped with just a few bats, right? Also, they can just mass headhunters. Headhunters are a very efficient unit against gargs. In general, right? The cost, they're actually cheaper than gargs. They're both 2 food units, but the gargs I think are 165 gold if I remember correctly. Whereas the headhunters are 140, I think, something like that. They do extra damage to gargs. Gargs do reduce damage to headhunters. So I'm getting some okay demo micro there. One of them was the Zeppelin was killed with one still inside, so it's going to be slow. But the other 2 weren't. Oh, this is where I get like all but one acolyte literally slips out. Oh, this is the win condition. Just I saw those. I was like, ooh, that's really damaged. Just run to the left. This is hindsight. And I didn't know he ran over there, but I was like, oh, geez, I don't know. I just got too hung up on like, ooh, these ziggurats were damaged. Let me kill them. And then I was like, well, this army is weak. I can just sit here and kill it. But the win condition actually is, or not exactly the win condition, but his only hope from unlocking himself from this position. His army isn't really. He does have a meat wagon, right? So technically he can, or a statue, and the heroes being strong enough, he technically could slowly siege up this, right, with that meat wagon, right? So I do need to kill that meat wagon. I scout this. He runs his acolyte over here. This is the other important thing about scouting gold mines, right? I did see the acolyte got away. I came to scout over here. I don't know where it is. The next logical position is either here or here. Potentially he could have like tried to hide something here. And then if he is able to clear this base out, then this could be like it's only 500 gold left, so he doesn't really want to take this mine, but yeah, basically my side of the map is sort of where he probably has his last acolyte. So yeah, this is yeah, he's got a fair bit of resources, but he can't really. He's supply blocked, and he's like his acolyte's roaming around. He wants to get his gold mine back up. I'm coming in with a TC. I've got an invul potion. This meat wagon is very damaged. It's no way he can really save it if I just pop the invul, hit it, boom, boom. He does slow. I think the slow goes like if he hits me with Nova and then I pop the divine shield or the invul potion. Sorry. Then the slow I think still affects me momentarily, even though I have the invul potion out, which is kind of annoying. He hits me with a Nova coil. Look like quite damaged. I'm at 500 health. I have a staff. I don't have any heal potions. And he's got that sort of hacker color that I can't see on the minimap. Actually, at some point, not right now, but much further into the game, I switched over to the like red-blue format or whatever. So he's instantly visible with the bright red on the minimap. This normally in team games I don't do this because I want to be able to see the individual colors to make like accurate assessments of who's where. That's more information that can actually be very helpful. But in a 1v1 context, there's only one other player, so that's not a benefit. It doesn't matter. Knowing his specific color doesn't provide any kind of actual benefit. So so it doesn't make sense for me to really especially if he has a color that's not visible in the mini map. There is actually a competitive advantage for me to switch that to a bright red. So I can just at a glance, if I have this in my peripheral vision, I'll see where his army, if I have vision, that is, if I have vision of him coming up, or if I have vision of a buildings or something somewhere on the map, it'll be the contrast is very clear. Unlike, let me check his regular color. I can literally run by his army and I won't even see it. Like, now these buildings I do see because it's like a weird. The blight shows up a certain color on the map and then the buildings. But like literally when he's running across these green areas, like these gargs, at a glance I cannot really see this. If I'm like literally staring really close, I can say, oh, there's some discoloration here. But if I'm just like glance at this or the mini map, I have vision of these gargs in this ground army. I just literally don't see it, like in my peripheral vision. So, but anyways, this is where I'm really close to level 5. I can literally just go creep anything, like kill some of these creeps, kill some of these creeps or whatever. Even probably just one, like this level 4, this level 3 maybe. I don't know the numbers, but yeah, clearing one of those camps will for sure get me level 5, I think. But yeah, let me switch it back to red. See, I don't see him really. I mean, if I stare, I can sort of maybe see it, but yeah. So he hasn't crept this. I was thinking about getting some sappers, but he hasn't crept it. I'm just like, ugh. And now I see that he has this expo. Like, oh man, he only has one acolyte. Is he supply blocked? He is supply blocked. Oh my gosh, if I go kill it, he'll be at 40. Oh, once this ziggurat finishes, he can build another one. So yeah, timing not so great. Where's my hero? I'm going to try to sneak in. I have all these demos. I'm going to send them up towards here. I want to clear these buildings out. These are his production buildings, right? I guess the production buildings are really irrelevant if I can kill the gold mine or the supply. The necropolis and the ziggurat or the gold mine. A lot of this, he'll be in real trouble if I can destroy it. So this might have been, I don't know, there's only 3 demos here. Probably just building up demos and crashing into this expo is probably the better play. I'm going for the more conservative, like come this direction, avoid his army, get to his main, knock out his supply, or his supply and his production. But this really doesn't, as long as he doesn't have resources, these buildings don't really matter. So I need to get his resources dropped to 0, or his ability to gain resources at all dropped to 0. So this should be the priority. This was a mistake. This is gonna, as you see, the game is only halfway done. I misplayed this quite funnily, as it were. I need to put some workers here. I think I have 5 here on the mine right now. These need to be on lumber. At some point, 2 of them are pulled off. I pulled 2 of them off somehow accidentally for a bit, so it's very bad. He's going to take this creep camp. This is the other thing about this strategy. It's really awkward to creep. I mean, I'm level nearly 5, so I can, with demos, I can creep pretty well, but not as easily as him. Like, even with, like, 1 statue and 3 heroes, he can pretty much roll through most of the stuff. He has actually he was smart enough to buy a staff on 2 of his heroes. The DK and the Lich both have a staff of teleportation. I don't know why he's not having the statues on his heroes here. He could have saved the mana for Death Coil. Just literally the statues would have kept him fine. But yeah, I'm clearing these buildings. He's gonna staff in to the crypt with the DK and then the Lich on the graveyard. And he's gonna, I don't know. Oh, I think I was trying to bait out a Death Coil, and he just didn't cast it. I thought he was about to, but he didn't. So I TP out. I don't lose the demos. He does have his army floating here, the Gargs. 5 Gargs, 1 attack upgrade. I'm towering this. I think he does scout this relatively, maybe not quickly. We'll see. Looks like he's about to scout it, or no, maybe not. I get a Zeppelin. I try to get cheeky a little bit coming in the back. There's a little bit of a better angle to get to the gold mine on this expansion compared to the mains. Through the trees, I mean. But he actually is right here when I start to Zeppelin. Let me see if he has vision. Oh, he doesn't. He didn't have vision, but I have to drop like right here to hit the trees. So, and I don't have vision of him, his army yet. I come up and I drop here. Oh no, they're going to attack. That timing was terrible. He literally, with like an extra second, he would have been away from this. But as it were, he had vision of me dropping right there. Dang, that's annoying. That's really annoying. Yeah, that timing actually messed me up quite a bit. Because imagine I mean, he does have the guards, I guess, but I would have gotten like 3 demos hitting on these buildings. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have. I mean, they would have died probably in the Zeppelin too. So maybe not. Maybe that's not the best thing for me. He's gonna kill this tower at the shop, or sorry, the lab. See, do you see the expo? Yeah, he still hasn't seen this top left expo. I put the shredder over here. I probably should have. The trees are gone up here though, so this is why I did this. Oh, this is where I accidentally pulled the peons or whatever. I put them back though. It looks like so. But anyways, yeah, a bit of a touch and go here. I just need to creep 1 camp for level 3 shockwave. Oh, level 3 shockwave is so powerful at cracking bases. He's lined up the ziggurats. This is actually very bad. He not only did he build so many ziggurats that he probably doesn't need. Actually, I guess he's only at 60 food. He could have probably chipped one of these away and still been fine. But the biggest problem is they're lined up, so I can literally get 4 ziggurats and I can hit one of his acolytes too. I'm gonna kill this ghoul. It's gonna give me this one ghoul is gonna give me level 5. So I'm gonna see level 3 shockwave just boom, just devastate these buildings. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the statue, 1 zig and the statue. Yeah, the statue is pretty important to kill. He has 2 of them, but it is a means of sustain. Now he has staffs on all 3 of his heroes, and actually he did. This is where he saw the expo and he killed a lot of peons up there. So now he's 5-5-4. This is totally brutal. He also has the Endurance Aura item, Ancient Django. He should have sold the Unholy Aura item. It doesn't benefit him. As long as he's running together with the DK, it doesn't give him any benefit. So it's a bunch of gold he could just get by selling. He probably isn't really blocked on... Well, no, he only has 200 gold, actually, so it would be really big for him to sell that. He also got the True Shot Aura. These are really great aura items for him. He should really sell that, though. He doesn't really have the art units to justify. I mean, he does get extra, like, damage on his Lich and his Dark Ranger, but the numbers are pretty. It's like 7%. So, and I guess he does get it for the guards, too, but they're air to ground attack, but, yeah, boom. Oh, did I miss one? I'm not sure if I hit that ziggurat or not, actually. I've got 2 demos here. I'm coming in. I'm going to hit the Necropolis. I should be going for... If I'm hitting the Necropolis, I should be going for the Acolytes. I'll try to hit the ziggurat in the statue. Killing the statue is pretty good. A pretty good move. Because this is his sustain if I kill it. I pull back, so I know the shockwave will hit all that stuff, so I don't have to get the last auto attack in. But his Acolytes, actually... I'm not sure if I could have killed all his Acolytes. If I just went for him. But I've killed a lot of his buildings here. So now he is in a weird position. I TP. And there's 1 demo up here going crazy, clearing the rest of this stuff out. The Zeppelin. I don't really want to just freely lose the Zeppelin, so I'm going to fly it away. If he brings a Garg or whatever, he's going to be able to kill the Zeppelin if it's up here, so... do I scout this? Have I already scouted this? I'm scouting it now. See that he has this finished. Now I'm like, oh my gosh. Go for the Haunted Gold Mine. Okay, killing the Necropolis is pretty good too. Oh no, I was going for the Acolyte. I forgot he had so many Acolytes still over there. So killing that Acolyte doesn't do anything. Killing the Haunted Gold Mine, it can't move. So if he's moving the Acolyte, the demo hits aren't going to get it. So that this should have been knocked out. That was just free. 2 free demo kills that didn't do barely any damage to him. And I definitely could have done a lot of damage by killing that Haunted Gold Mine. So Man, that one other acolyte, he is building an Acropolis at both, so presumably he can get away. Um, but yeah, I've got him locked in. I've got these expos. Man, it just felt like my resources were just trickling in so slowly. I was like, oh man, I guess I spent a bunch on like invisibility, invul potions, blah blah blah. But man, okay, I killed his acolyte. I'm gonna get this. Hopefully, pretty sure I get this. Yeah, trying to angle it to the necropolis, and I hit his dark ranger, which is probably not really meaningful damage, but ends up catching me with a coil. I should be blocking those coils. Like, I mean, I didn't know he was coming out of the fog, but yeah, taking that level 3 death coil is actually, I have 1,000 health, but I have to keep, like, what does it do? Like, I think it does, since it's only 70% at level 3, it's gonna do, yeah, 210 damage. So, 210. Yeah, it's like a health potion basically, a little bit less than a health potion. Um, gonna come in here, and I see he's sitting here with his lich and his dark range. I'm like, let me angle for a better target. Oh, maybe I missed the acolyte too there. That was actually quite poor. Bloop. I'm gonna get this acolyte kill eventually. Do I get it here? Yeah, shockwave got him. Gonna TP away. I have a staff, but it's like, where do I want a staff? I guess I could have staffed up here and tried to kill this Garg. I'm pretty sure I would have got it if he was on open ground, just with enough purges from the orb. So that probably would have been a good idea. This mine is at 8,200. This one's at 1,400. These mines have a lot more gold left, I think, total. Actually, 14,000. Do they? Yeah, they have it's like about 9,300 compared to, what did I say, 14,000? Almost 15,000. So if he's able to mine these both out, he almost has 6,000 gold more or so. But I mean, it's going to take a long time for him to do that. But that would be a disaster. His ears are so strong, I think he just wins if he gets enough gold like that. So, but yeah, I've got him in this weird position where he can't really make units per se. I guess he could grab mercs. There's probably points in the game where he could have grabbed like a mud golem or a troll priest or something for healing. These dive bombs on the base are pretty costly, having to go in invisible. I guess I don't have to go in invisible, but going in invisible and then invisible and vulnerability potion, that's 250 gold total for, the combined costs. So it pretty much guarantees the damage because I can go in safely, but it's also very costly to do it. Oh yeah, this is where I built up a bunch of no. Yeah, this is where I built up a bunch of demos and had them just come in from the side. I'm like, this was really good because his army's over. Well, not all of his army. His guards are still floating here. That's kind of annoying. This actually, and I got a reincarnation there, so I didn't TP. I hit the reincarnation. I might have had enough mana for another shockwave, but the problem was the timing. I was just like between shockwaves, he killed me. But anyways, I killed this base. So now this is actually literally 3 buildings. In hindsight, I probably could have all in and maybe gotten all these buildings, but I don't know this is his last building. So I want to be very careful not to lose everything here. Losing the TC for real, like not under reincarnation, but losing the TC and having to rebuy him. You notice my resources only at 325 gold. That is so costly to revive. Either the regular revive at the altar, which I actually don't have an altar, or taverning him back. Taverning him back is going to be super costly. I don't have the gold to revive a level 6 hero is quite a bit. I don't think I'm anywhere near it, so don't want to do that. I run over here. I'm going to TP and catch most of these demos. He kills this one, unfortunately. Did he have the? I don't think he had the DPS to stop the demos from killing these 3 buildings. But like I said, if I lose the TC, kind of putting it all on the line, right? I don't know how close he is to level 6. I don't think he needs a lot of experience for 6. 500. I don't know. That's a lot of demos and a level 6. Yeah, I can't give him level 6 on the lich. The Death and Decay is too powerful. He can literally just run over there and Death and Decay like half my base. He can crack this with Death and Decay. Like everything is vulnerable to Death and Decay. The heroes I struggle to kill. Right, and it's gonna be nearly impossible for me to kill his heroes unless he fights in the towers, which foreshadowing. I'm gonna build 1 tower up here, and I'm gonna draw this guard here, and kill it with the. Well, actually, I didn't kill it. He got it away, but I got the tower to do some damage to that guard. Pull him off of the spot a little bit. He should have just went back probably, but maybe he does eventually. I don't know, but anyways, got the TC invised up. I should just, in theory, maybe just wait. The cooldown isn't really. It's an ultimate cooldown, so it's it's a fair bit of time, but just ensuring I can stand in there and just die and revive is such a. It's just it gives you a lot of confidence, right? It's like I don't have to worry about I've got an extra life basically, so if I mess up, like the margin for error is pretty good at nearly 1200 health, right? It's hard for him to do 1200 damage at like 1 shot, so he's not. As long as I have a TP or whatever, I should be fine. Even if he were to kill me. Kill the Necropolis. Go for. Oh, he picked up the Acolytes and a Zeppelin. Pretty smart of him. He realizes if he can just keep those Acolytes alive, it's very, very important for him to be able to keep those Acolytes up. And doing it with a Zeppelin is pretty cost effective, to be honest. At least against a TC specifically. If it was like a Blade Master with an orb, that really wouldn't. It really wouldn't be the greatest because the Blade Master attacks so fast and he does so much damage with that orb that he can, can probably kill these Zeppelin in like a few shots. But this is where he goes just full into the towers. This is crazy. I have so many demos. I'm not really microing the greatest here, and their attacks are very lobbing, slow attacks, right? So it's like. It's you have to be a little bit. If he's paying attention, he took some demo shots on the Dark Ranger, but he can heal the Dark Ranger. He's taking a lot of damage from the towers on the DK though. This is a problem. He does have a greater Invul Potion, which he probably does. He pop it here. We'll see when he pops it, if he pops it. Yeah, he took a couple of shots there. I'm trying to like attack ground a little bit. Because he had, like, it's not, I don't even know if he's specifically trying to, oh, he didn't pop it at all. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he got caught not paying attention there. That was pretty good. A little hamming it up a little bit there, too. That's sort of an homage to a friend of mine. He used to say that all the time in games to troll people. And when stuff like that happened, like, he would say that. So, yeah, I have a lot of demos, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's GG, but he's towering his hero back. This was a mistake. I TP'd because I forgot that I had a reincarnation up. I don't know. I knew the timing was there. There was no reason. Like, it was just sort of a panic moment. Like, it's not that I actually forgot, because around here I was like, I had like 2 seconds, and I was being very careful, trying to be very careful not to lose the TC without reincarnation up. But, because 2 seconds, I mean, what's 2 seconds? But for such a big cost just to wait. But anyways, if I just let him kill it there, I was already at 45 mana. Like, just let him die. It's not like I was even missing a shockwave. I was missing like half a shockwave in terms of mana cost. So, and then I would have almost certainly, if he stands there, the demo shots probably just land on the lich, right? He probably's like, yeah, I'm going to kill this TC, not knowing if I have reincarnation ready, which I did. And then his level 5 lich dot. Oh, actually, it's like Invul Potion. Maybe he pops it. I don't know. We'll see. I tried to blind. Oh, I think sort of just grazed the Lich a little bit there, but I didn't. I would need like some clean, like 1 or 2 clean hits, I think, or maybe even 3 clean hits to really kill that Lich. But yeah, if he stomped to hit the TC, he might have been like, yeah. He also might have just popped an Invul Potion, but I would have come back full health and full mana with the orb. So he would have been in a very dangerous position. Any of his heroes that I start hitting is going to potentially get purged, and then the demos would still be attacking. So yeah, that should have been just me, just eating it, popping the reincarnation. That was a great spot for me, and I just sort of was panic TP'd out of there. Um, so yeah, that was a big misplay, in fact. But he's in a really awkward position. He is really clawing. He's really trying. He's like blocked this off, and the TC actually will not fit through this hole here. So this gap is too small for the TC to fit through. So I'm gonna have to clear this out before I go through there. Oh, I don't even know if the shockwave hit that thing. That was terrible. Pop the reincarnation. This is gonna be really awkward. I do kill his haunted gold mine though. I TP out. He rebuilds it. He just has enough resources to keep. I really do have to be a little bit careful though, because like I said, if my gold is actually starting at 2,500. And this one's got a fair bit too. So I'm pretty confident, right? But like if I mess up enough, like I said, his hero. I don't know how close he is to 6. He's pretty far. I don't know. Even if I lose a TC, maybe doesn't get there, but TC plus all the demos, and then I have to rebuy, and then some towers. And then I have to come back with if I tavern, I have to come back with half health. He's gonna leave himself exposed to try to stop this because there is 1,000 gold up here. But between the cost of building all these towers and rebuilding these peons, it's probably still profitable, but it's getting much. It's sort of the more I have to rebuild, the less total profits it's gonna get. So it's more of just sort of dragging his attention, though. Actually, he loses positioning, and then boom boom. Yeah, he can't stop this. I have an invul. Dun dun dun. Literally can't do it. And I get him. I don't think I stayed to kill these heroes. I think I just left the game. Yeah. So yeah, the unit kills there. He actually got quite a bit more than me. The units produced very close. He had a bunch of skeletons, of course, but yeah, those numbers are very close. These numbers pretty close too. Buildings raised. It was quite a bit more than him, right? Of course, I did produce more than him too, so that sort of explains it. I had mass demos as well, so hero kills. He actually didn't get any. I managed to sneak one in there. The DK, which was actually a very big hero kill, level 5 DK. Very nice. He got way more experience than me though. He crept a lot more. And having 3 heroes generally, it's weird, but splitting the experience between 3 heroes, not only is it in terms of the effectiveness in battle generally, especially since none of them got 6 anyway. If he wouldn't have gotten this 3rd hero, some people were suggesting he might have gotten Death and Decay, which is perhaps true. That definitely would be a win condition against what I was doing. But yeah, silence and stuff didn't really help him. So if I don't know, it's weird. A 3rd hero is generally standard. It's very costly, and he did get to level 4. The problem is how much of this experience was siphoned off from the Dark Ranger. He did kill quite a bit of my demos and stuff, and towers and peons, so there's a decent chance without this hero here, he actually does get 6 on the Lich, which would have been a very powerful, one of the weaknesses of the Undead army in general, the standard armies that are built, and the one that he specifically built, Gargs, and these heroes, DK Lich, until the Lich gets level 6, these 2 heroes don't really interact very favorably with buildings. My TC can hit Shockwave and clear buildings, if he picks Shockwave, very well. And then his ultimate is weird, arguably passive a little bit, but technically if it revives him with mana, it can help clear buildings as well. so it can sort of force damage into buildings. Until he gets Death and Decay, these are just Coil Nova can just really interact with units. So he can do run bys on peons potentially or whatever, but the towers you're gonna stand tall against these heroes, and even the Dark Ranger doesn't really offer much against the buildings. No damage interaction. Even Black Arrow doesn't affect the buildings. So, um, and Charm is like just a unit thing. So yeah, massing towers can, against a small undead army, even at power leveled heroes, can be very, very annoying for the undead to deal with. So, GG.